real cold. That feels good. I tell you what, I love that outdoor shower. It is so nice to be able to get cleaned up before I take that 35-minute drive back home. And you know, it's like 1.5 million degrees out here in Central Virginia, and it's just miserable driving home all sweaty and soggy and gross. But today we are going to finish up the sunflower patch. We started it last weekend. I don't think I filmed it, didn't share it with you guys, but we want to have blooms for about 4 weeks straight. So we've staggered our planting over a couple weeks to make sure that we have that. And this will finish up the third of an acre, almost half of an acre of total flowers that we have out here, assuming that all goes to plan over the next 60 days. So follow along, it's going to be a fun one. You might have noticed right behind me here, all around me, right next to the shower, is our buckwheat field, or was our buckwheat field. I just mowed it down, and I'm going to till this and plant another buckwheat crop this year, and we're going to hopefully use this for photographers. We didn't have any photographers take advantage of this crop, and I guess partially because no one really knew what to expect. I took some pictures once it was in bloom, but you can really only let this bloom, my understanding, is about 7 to 10 days before it goes to seed, and you really don't want it to go to seed because then it can become a weed on your property. So I went ahead and let it get to kind of mature flower heads and took some photos and shared it with our audience on Facebook and our local photographer friends and all that. And a lot of people said they really liked it. So hopefully another 8 weeks from now or so, when we get another crop, we can attract some photographer business. But this is all part of the patch here that I had shared in a previous video. We're just trying to build our soil here so we have a nice area to plant trees in the future. And we're doing about a 2-year soil improvement project here where we're going to plant numerous cover crops throughout the year and just keep adding all of that organic matter back to the soil, and hopefully that really improves things for us. But let me go up and show you what I worked on earlier with the sunflowers, and I'll give you a progress update with the flowers that are already in the ground. Well, to start us out, we got the Caroni 3-foot tiller hooked up here to the back of the tractor, and that's what we use to make our rows for our flowers. It actually works out really well because the tractor is about 5 feet wide, and with the 3-foot tiller on there, the tires leave us kind of rows in between our flowers for us to walk up and down. So it really works out nice. This right here is one row of cosmos here on the right side, might be your left. Anyway, on this side. And then we've got 3 rows of zinnias. We need to do a little bit of spraying of the weeds up and down the aisles. But you can see how our rows here made with the tiller keep everything nice and neat. So what I've done so far is I've got 2 fresh rows tilled over here. I forgot I need to add fertilizer still, so I'm coming back through. I'm going to drop fertilizer by hand along this row, and then I'm going to go ahead and till it, and then I'm going to fit 2 more rows in over here. And I've got to do the same thing, add fertilizer and till it, because this is our second planting of sunflowers here in rows. It's actually our 4th planting of sunflowers altogether. That green patch over there is one of our photography patches, and when we're open for you pick sunflowers, if there are blooms there, people can pick those too, but the bulk of our you pick flowers are up here in this tilled area. And that patch down there, like I said, is just for photographers. And I've got another patch for photographers way at the back of the property back there that's just starting to come up. We got 4 rows tilled now, and each of these will actually get 2 rows of flowers. So this is 8 more rows of flowers, and each of these rows are about 70 feet long. So, you know, it's going to be a lot of flowers put down. I've got 3 different kinds of sunflower seeds. I'm going to go set up my seeder now, show you how that works. The seeder comes with these little seed plates, or depending on the brand, you might have to order extra ones. This particular seed plate is labeled for beets, okra, and Swiss chard, and the spacing for those plants is way too close for sunflowers, so we're going to tape off many of these holes. And since I used this last week, some of the tapes come undone, so I got to redo some of it. So I'm just using electrical tape. Put a little piece over the top like that. I've used painter's tape before, it works fine too. And then this seed plate just goes up inside the seeder like that and locks into place, and only the cups that are open will scoop up seed and place them down in our rows. The seeder makes really quick work of planting the sunflowers, but I realized we're actually almost out of seed. So for our last 2 rows, I need to be a little bit careful. Last week when we planted sunflowers, this firecracker variety has a smaller seed, and apparently we dropped a lot more seed than we were supposed to in those rows. I did notice the plants are coming in pretty thick, and we're going to have to do some thinning over there. So I'm not going to use the seeder for my last couple rows and using these. But I have a little bit of firecracker seed left. I have a little bit of the ProCut 1 or the ProCut orange seed left. So I'm going to use my seeder just to define my rows, and then I'm going to drop seed by hand on these last 2 rows. It takes a little bit more time, but I'm going to be a lot more precise this way with a little bit of seed that we have left. Well, you can see these sprinklers are doing pretty well. I don't think I ever did an update video on getting 2 of these sprinklers to run at once off that pump. But the way I got it to work is use the smaller nozzle. The end of the sprinkler has adjustable nozzles, or I guess not adjustable, but replaceable, and you can replace them with different size nozzles. So I used the smallest nozzle that came with it, which I believe is a 10mm nozzle on each of them. And by reducing each of those sprinklers down to 10mm, it's able to push enough pressure to power both these sprinklers pretty well. And it ends up doing about a 40-foot radius, which is way less than it's supposed to do if it was full pressure, but it's still putting out a really good stream, as you can see, and it's the distribution of the water is pretty good. Though I did notice this one down here is not getting close to the sprinkler as wet as it should be. So I'm going to go adjust on it a little bit and get that to work. But that's going to wrap it up for me today. Thanks for watching. I'll keep you posted on how the flowers are doing over the next month or 2, and then we'll update you on how we are going to open for cut your own flowers here by the time we get to late August and early September. So thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the video. I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.